Hello to all. This is my first video. I'm gonna try and make some maintenance videos for the Kawasaki Versys-300. In this first one, it's my time to check the chain, tighten it up a little bit. Now, what Kawasaki suggests is that you want the chain slack to be about 2.5 to 3.5. Because I'm a heavy guy and I go a lot of times 2 up with a pillion. I go a little bit on trails, a little bit off road. I try to keep it at the high end, like 3.5. But I think it's perfect 4 centimeters for me. And the only reason is the more that you compress the wheel, the more it tightens up. That's why you see a lot of dirt bikes that have a lot of slack in the chain because they have a lot of travel. And you guys could check it too. Like if you put it on the side stand and you see how the slack is on the chain, and then you stand it up, you keep it upright, you're gonna see that it's a little bit tighter. Or if you sit on it, even if you sit on it, you're gonna see the chain tightening up. That's because of the travel, because you're compressing with weight. Um, the the most tightest time that the chains are gonna be, it's gonna be when it's gonna be parallel. When the front sprocket and the rear axle is parallel, that's going to be the maximum tightness. And it's logical. It's logical. The more you compress it, the more it's going to go to that point where it's going to be parallel. So my ideal is like 3.5, 4 centimeters. If you're a little lighter guy, if you do a lot of pillion riding, if you only drive on the road or something, you could keep it like 2.5, 3, no problem. So I'm gonna try give as much information as I can give at the following videos. If you guys want more videos, try put like torque specs or like part numbers if there's some kind of part number that's needed. And that's it. So let's go on. So these are going to be all the tools you're going to need. They all come with the toolkit of the bike. You'll need a measuring tape that's not in the toolkit. You need pliers for the cotter pin. You'll need a 13mm, that's for the adjusters. A 17mm, that's for the axle stud. You need a 12mm, that's for the lock nuts on the adjuster. A 27mm, that's for the axle nut. And you can even use the extension for that. For more leverage, makes it easier to break it. This is my chain right now. It's loose. I have to tighten it. So you put the measuring tape on the floor. You take your ply, you push it. It's at 7 centimeters now. It's showing 7. I'm gonna push it up. It's gonna go 2.5. 2.5. That's about 4.5 centimeters. That's more than the recommended. That's max 3.5. So I have to tighten my chain now. I love my WD-40, so whenever I work on cars, on bikes and everything, I always put some on the nuts, on the screws, wherever I can find it, wherever I need it, I think it needs it. It's like a precaution that so I don't strip anything. So let's begin. We're going to start up with the cotter pin. We have to get it off. If we don't get it off, we can't go nowhere. So it helps if you have a flathead screwdriver and try to push the cotter pin downwards, get some space. As soon as you get some space, you can put some pliers on it, grab it tight with the pliers, push it downwards. What you want to do is make the cotter pin straight. As soon as you make it straight, you can just pull it out. You have to line the holes. As soon as it gets out, that's it. You got the cotter pin off. And here it is. Just pull it out, and that's it. There's a cotter pin. It's out. Next, get your 17mm, put it on the axle stud and hold it tight. Don't move it. Place the 27mm on the axle nut and unscrew it. Chances are it's going to be too tight, so you have to use the extension. It's in the toolkit. Remember that unscrewing the axle nut, you have to hold the stud stable. Don't move the stud on the other side. Now that we got the axle nut loose, it's time to loosen up the lock nuts with the 12mm wrench. So it's straightforward. We just loosen the left side, we go to the right side and do the same thing. So after you loosen up the lock nuts, you get your 14mm and you position it on the adjusters. So if you want to tighten up the chain, you have to turn in the screw. If you want to loosen up the chain, you have to turn out the screw. So tighten the screw, tightens up the chain, loosen up the screw, loosens up the chain. Keep in mind you have to have the alignment on the left side and the right side the same. You go on the other side, you screw in the adjuster and check the alignment. There's some lines. Those lines help you so you can be sure that the left side and the right side is the same. Then you hand tighten the lock nuts on the left side and the right side. Just hand tighten because we're going to check the chain now. Before checking the chain, you have to make sure the tire, the rear axle is seated properly. So what I do is while pressing the rear brake, I try to push forward the bike, and that positions the tire better. After loosening up the chain again, it's time to check it again. The chain's showing 7. I push it up to 3. That's 4 centimeters. I'm glad of that. I'm super glad of that. I'm going to keep it like that. After that, it's time to tighten up the screw nuts. Make sure the alignment is straight, left and right side. You tighten up the axle nut. I don't have a 27 socket, so I'm using a torque wrench with the 17mm socket. The torque is 98 Newton meters, 98. Most likely the holes aren't going to be aligned so you could pass the cotter pin. So what I do is when I start torquing it down, I begin from 95. If I see there's no hole aligned, I put 96. So what that does is it keeps on turning the axle nut until I get something aligned. You have to play around a little bit with the old cotter pin so you can get it straight again. Use some pliers and everything, you'll find a way. And then it's like you have to keep on testing, try and get it through the holes and everything. Eventually you get it through, just bend the tips, and that's it, you finish. That's all it is. If you've done this multiple times to tire changes or chain adjustments, the cotter pin might have loosened its strength. So if anyone wants to buy it online or something, this is the codes for it. Thanks for watching, guys. That's all. Adjusting chain it's simple. It's nothing like, it's not rocket science. So if you guys are happy with the video and everything, I might continue doing other ones like oil changes and all that. Until then, keep on riding, be safe, and stay tuned. Bye bye.